Welcome to the 2018 Senate election night with Chuck Schumer representing the Democratic Party and Mitch McConnell representing the Republican Party. Now we have the current composition for the battle on the Senate control. Democrats must gain 3 seats to control the Senate, and Republicans need 8 seats for a filibuster-proof majority. There are 43 uncontested Republican seats and 23 uncontested Democratic seats, with 2 Democratic independent seats up for re-election, and Republican seats are up for re-election, and 23 Democratic seats are up for re-election. And now we have the first projections: Indiana, Virginia, and Vermont. In Indiana, it is too close to call. Mike Braun has a small lead over Joe Donnelly. In Vermont, Bernie Sanders has an enormous win over his Republican opponent. In Virginia, Corey Stewart loses again, this time to Tim Kaine in the Senate, who will win in a safe margin. And now we have the current map: 25 Democrats to 42 Republicans. Now we have the next poll closings from Ohio and West Virginia at 7:30. And we have an Ohio projection: Sherrod Brown will win. Joe Rinaldi was able to close the margin the last few days, but still Sherrod Brown will win. In West Virginia, it is too close to call. Patrick Morrisey was able to take a higher ground in polling, and Joe Manchin lost popularity with both political parties. Now we have the current map: 26 Democrats and 42 Republicans. Now we have the next poll closings: Connecticut, Missouri, Delaware, New Jersey, Florida, Pennsylvania, Maine, Rhode Island, Maryland, Tennessee, Massachusetts, Mississippi, and its special election, all at 8 p.m. In Connecticut, Chris Murphy wins with 55.2% of the vote. This was a pretty narrow margin for Chris Murphy. In Missouri, it is too close to call. Josh Hawley leads by 0.2%. But this is only in Republican counties, which will probably mean that the Claremont Catskill will win. In Delaware, Tom Carper wins. He has 64.9% of the vote, and none of the Republican opponents stood a chance. In New Jersey, Bob Menendez, with all of his scandals, and Bob Hugin gaining in support, now the state is too close to call, and it's in the margin of 5%. Could we see a Republican winning in New Jersey? In Florida, it is too close to call. Bill Nelson and Rick Scott are tied exactly with the same amount of votes. This will be one of the closest races we have. In Pennsylvania, Bob Casey wins by 11%, not as much as we expected, but he will still get that win. In Maine, Angus King wins by 20%, keeping all of the independent seats in the Senate. In Rhode Island, Sheldon Whitehouse wins 60% of the vote to the former Rhode Island Supreme Court judge, with 64.8% of the vote. In Maryland, Ben Cardin wins. This was an enormous margin, 30%. These are safe blue states. None of the other competitors could have stood a chance. In Massachusetts, it is surprisingly too early to call, with Elizabeth Warren only leading Sheriff Deal by 6%. This is probably because of Charlie Baker's endorsement and because of the Elizabeth Warren DNA testing. In Mississippi, Roger Wicker will win. at 15.2% of the vote. In Mississippi, Cindy Hyde-Smith term is able to outperform the polls and win automatically. Mike Espy's disappointed. The Democrats were aiming for this. Tennessee is too close to call. Marshall Blackburn was able to take a significant lead in polling and in the debates, but now it's come back and now it's really close. And we have the current map: 32 Democrats to 44 Republicans. Now we have next poll closings: Arizona, Michigan, Minnesota special election in Minnesota, Nebraska, New Mexico, New York, North Dakota, Texas, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. All at 9 p.m. In Arizona, it is too close to call. Christian Sinema is in a small lead. In Michigan, Debbie Stabenow wins. John James making a last-minute push with the Republican voters and the black vote. In Minnesota, Amy Klobuchar wins. Not even contested. And she will get another 6 years in the Senate. In Minnesota special election, Tina Smith will beat Karen Housley by the expected margin. Nothing surprising here. In Nebraska, Deb Fisher wins. She was able to pull an upset by winning by this much. In New Mexico, it is too close to call. Gary Johnson was able to take a lot of the voters back from Marvin Heinrich and McRich. It is now almost passing Marvin Heinrich. In New York, Kristen Gillibrand wins with almost 60% of the vote. And that is amazing for New York and its demographic trends. In North Dakota, Kevin Cramer wins without even saying that it's too close to call. This was deemed toss-up by every single political pundit, but Kevin Cramer will win here by 13%. Major. In Texas, Ted Cruz wins. This was also deemed toss-up by everyone. People thought that Beto O'Rourke would win, but Ted Cruz has made a significant margin and will carry the state and get 6 more years in the Senate. In Wisconsin, Tammy Baldwin wins, and a significant amount, and it's a good win for her. In Wyoming, John Barrasso wins with more than 60% of the vote. Well, more than almost 60% of the vote. Around 55% of the vote will go to John Barrasso over the Democratic contender Gary Trotter. And now we have the current map: 48 Republicans to 37 Democrats. Now we have the next poll closings: Montana, Nevada, and Utah at 10 p.m. Montana is too close to call. Jon Tester has become very unpopular after the Kavanaugh confirmation with new polls in the debates. Matt Rosendale closing in on his lead. In Nevada, Dean Heller has taken a significant lead in polls and in debates, and is now too close to call on this seat. Who will win? In Utah, Mitt Romney wins. The former Republican candidate for president now becomes the senator of Utah. Now we have the current map: 37 Democrats to 49 Republicans. Now we have the next poll closings: California, Washington, Hawaii, all at 11 p.m. At California, Dianne Feinstein wins, but after her name getting around with some horrible scandals, Kevin DeLeon was able to almost win here, but he will still take the seat for January. In Washington, Maria Cantwell wins by 20% of the vote expected. just expected. And Hawaii may 0-1 win in a very big margin. But this is what people expect. The political pundits give Hawaii as a safe state. And the current map has 40 Democrats and 49 Republicans, 11 more contested seats. We have at 11:25 p.m. a few major projections: Massachusetts, New Jersey, Montana, West Virginia, and Nevada. In Massachusetts, Elizabeth Warren wins against Sheriff Dealey. He was able to add a few voters to him, but Elizabeth Warren will still win. But this is a narrow margin. In New Jersey, Bob Menendez wins, but in a leading margin. This is very close. Only 4 percentage points separate them. In Montana, Matt Rosendale wins by 0.7% of the vote. John Tester is fuming. In West Virginia, Joe Manchin wins by an enormous margin. A lot of conservative Republicans probably switched to him and voted. In Nevada, Dean Eller wins by 2 percentage points, exactly what the New York Times predicted, and many other polling sources. And now the Republicans retain control in the Senate, with 57.5% of the popular vote going to them. Now we have the current map: 51 Republicans and 43 Democrats, with 6 more contested seats. Now we have 1 a.m. major projections: New Mexico, Tennessee, Florida, and Arizona. In New Mexico, Martin Heinrich wins in a leading margin. Mick Rich, a spoiler: if he would have dropped out, then Gary Johnson would have won. In Tennessee, Marsha Blackburn wins. This was very expected, and she will win by 11%. A disappointment to Blue Dogs everywhere. In Florida, Rick Scott will win by 0.2% of the vote. That is a razor-thin margin, and he will be able to take the seat from a Democratic incumbent, even in a Democratic wave year. In Arizona, Martha McSally is able to hold her seat, the Republican name in the seat, by 0.9%. Narrow margin. And she's able to survive in the blue wave year. And at 2 a.m. we have the final projections and very major projections from Indiana and Missouri. In Indiana, Mike Braun wins by 0.4%. None of the pollsters expected this. They thought Joe Donnelly would win, so they stopped polling. Now they were wrong. Mike Braun has made a surprise win after Mike Pence has campaigned here with Donald Trump. In Missouri, Josh Hawley wins by less than 10 votes. He wins with 47.886% of the vote. To Claire McCaskill's 47.885% of the vote. That is major for the Republicans. And we have the final composition: 56 Republicans to 44 Democrats. An amazing margin for the Republicans. This was an amazing night for the Republicans and will cause nightmares for the Democrats for so long. Thank you for watching, everyone. I worked really hard on this. I had 66 slides. So please subscribe and like the video. Comment what you want to see next. And please just subscribe. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.